Alright, so the purpose of this video is I've been toying with this idea to switch out of the Ranger playstyle that I was doing. And I actually had done this before they did this last stat revamp update, which I'm kind of glad because I don't like the ramp up idea for ranged damage. But went back to Lucky Beast Mage. I just have a soft spot for being a Beastmaster and having luck. Something about it, I just enjoy playing that way. But what I wanted to try to do to see if I could figure out if there was a way to just like exclusively be in Dark Invader armor, no matter the battle, if it's a boss fight, regular fight, no matter what. Maybe have some other armors there to do some like things to enhance Dark Invader, not necessarily to switch to those armors. And then I would try to find some shields, some miscs, some spells, and different things to attempt to enhance the armor also. One of the things about the stat revamp that's a positive is if you have trained luck, you will have at worst a 15% block rate going forward against pure monsters, against non-pure monsters or lower level monsters. It'll be even better. And I am noticing blocking a lot already. So I wanted to start off by this is more of a showcase in talking about the different ideas. But one of the things that I am is a necromancer as my class. The ability to do Elevulns with Grasp Essence, heal, and heal MP. But one of the things is just hop in it, get your barrier, and hop out to start battles. Some of the other armors that I'm going to be using, I have so I'm a Warpire subrace, but I'm not going to be using it much. There's only a couple of ways I would use it. I could stack Terror, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. But mostly I'm going to be using this guest here, the one that does energy and fire, which is the same exact ones as Dark Invader. So the synergy is perfect. I would use Archmage Apprentice to do the magic barrier to give myself more barriers. And then Fortune Thief is my initiative armor. And then I have Geocastellum for my Ellie shield. And then for now, this may change. I have Fiend of Light just as it does the Spirit Rend, which would give me up to 200% darkness, which enhances the Necromancer Cloak's abilities. But basically, in a nutshell, it's going to almost exclusively be Warpire Bat Swarm, the energy and fire variant, and taking advantage of the bug, and then the Jelly Pet on energy mode, and the item upgrader, just use the energy mode. Weapons, Foam Finger, obviously you have the opportunity to increase damage of your pet and guest. I normally almost always use it on 50% pet mode. I tend to use this against monsters that I can't utilize fire element. When I use the Independence Dagger for fire element. I have the Arcane Cutlass of Storms for when I cast the Epic Slice spell. Alchemical Unity to try to get some blinds. I'll show you how I'll go about that. I have this as my Charisma weapon, which is what I will use with Fortune Thief. It will give me Charisma stats. It's pretty strong, especially if you use the Unapoka buff. And then I have this for the Necromancer Dark spells. I got Mandate for the blind and choke. Twisted Siphon, which in Spellcaster armors is pretty good, especially with some LE Vulns that have been enhanced by the Bat Swarm. I have Fire Dragon Talon Imbue, which is what I use with Alchemical Unity and the LE Vulns from the armor to try to increase my blind. Runic Binding for low resistance monsters, as well as stacking LE Vulns with this and this. Unapoka for the charisma buff. This skill is inflicted with charisma, so having an extra 105 here is also helpful. I also have both shield cakes for the charisma boost here, crit, celerity. So I've got 2 shields and Shadow Feeder for 3 forms of celerity. Doing the damage reduction, stacks, especially with chokes and whatnot. You have your shield. I don't really use the imbue. The main shield that I use is Tropo Shield for the earth, energy, and fire LE Vulns that it inflicts. I also have Gandalfin, which I will use my MP bar as extra HP. So I'm actually playing. This armor can play defensively and offensively at the same time. So that's why I'm trying to create items that enhance it. I have Arms of the Dragon Guard, though I'm finding I don't use it because it doesn't affect the pet anymore. I may swap this out because I have other forms of hypercrit in the shield cakes. But for now, it's there. Just as so for my miscs, before I move on, of course these are mainstays. I'm finding that this guy is pretty useful. You get 176 once a battle, and so to start a battle it's pretty helpful. And then you do this and you lose 200 and something hit points. But I don't care because I normally equip this guy here, which gives me some endurance, and again gain that back. Cracked Ornament is mostly for bossing. To get that initial, so I'll inflict a 14.3 or 14.4 status helper, and then with this that'll give me another 10 point something. And then if I'm doing Unapoka, it's a charisma save, so most monsters, even bosses, have a hard time saving against this armor. Then I have Summoning Stone, as well as the Titan's Shield, Titan's Fall Shield for Dodge Lash. I also have Grinning Jack, which is an energy imbue if I want to imbue. And then Inflict Fear. So I've got Necromancers and this imbue here to do fear. And that is also one way that I am playing, at times anyway. I have all these pets here, but I only really use Energy Jelly. I might occasionally on bosses do a Bun Barret to get the initial inflict to stack the status potency. And then I also have the Royal Cake in order to, if I want to inflict my Mandate a little better. It's a intelligence inflict, and it is also, the celerity doesn't work with the pet, but it's another form of celerity. So a lot of times I'll just max stack the shield cakes and the pet before I begin playing. Also, we'll go get Ambush Pot. So these are some of the items I'm using to enhance the build. So as you know, it'll inflict a fire or energy LE Vuln. And even though I'm not really equipping defensive miscs and defensive shields, pretty much no matter the monster, I'm able to get this down because it'll inflict a choke. So we have a choke down to 692. If you see the status weakness. And then as you can see, I've got 132% fire vuln based on the pet and guest landed hits, plus the 192 energy and fire elemental vulnerability was enhanced up to 309. The shield didn't inflict, but if it had, I would have had another 142% just to fire. So I'd had 142, 132, and now a 309 all to fire by itself. The only thing that would be really badass would be if I had a fire version, or if they made a fire version of this guy here. But the idea is this is going to replenish my SP, so I can do say I wanted to heal. So I just do that. And 2 clicks, it's 177, so that's for 4 turns. So I will probably give myself between 600 and 800 hit points. Again, there's a block because of the new blocking. I have negative 33, so the Warpire Bat Swarm guest is enhancing the def loss from the armor. BTH is not an issue with Dark Invader. With the LE Vulns, offense is not an issue with Dark Invader. And I've also got now down to 53 choke. And there's a blind there. I don't know the blind amount there. So I can do lots of things as I replenish my SP every turn. I can just, if I'm worried about the infliction, which I'm just showcasing here, technically I probably wouldn't normally do this. And because the LE Vulns last for the next turn also, subsequent turns increases in damage. And then the def losses and the blinds and the chokes are also being lowered every time. So I'm gaining more offense and more defense at the same time every single turn. You just see 2,952 SP. Again, if I wanted to come here and just stack a couple of these, if I was fighting a tougher monster, just to make sure I have enough SP here. The Bat Swarm will probably kill the monster here. So here we have a level 150 monster here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to showcase, okay, so I can do Runic Binding. So maybe I just want to do Zaffinity Power. And then come back with Runic Binding. It's 137, and the Warpire Bat Swarm will most likely enhance it. Now it's up to 275. So as you can see, that's one way to go. I normally won't because I'm not inflicting a choke. I can come back with this. Have all these Vulns there. And you're going to see some pretty good regen. And in events I am against a tougher monster, I can actually switch this guy over and see what happens with healing, and you'll be able to see this. So that's a pretty good heal. If I want to, I could keep it that way. Might die here in a second. Just showcasing this stuff. No, light is my weakest element in this setup. again, I could use Gandalfin as a barrier. Switch over to Necromancer, get another barrier, and then come back here. So against tougher monsters or against elements that I'm weak against, I've got these barriers that I can play with. And then again, I can dodge lash if I want to. So that's one way to play. Another way to go, so I'm going to do Epic Slice here. It'll do 116 times the number of landed hits, and then the Warpower Bout Swarm will sometimes bug that out, which it didn't this time. But I can actually take the Dark Invader's LE Volns with the Shield's LE Volns and do Epic Slice, and it actually will do nuke level damage. I'll showcase that real quick. I usually can do a shit ton of damage just by doing a celerity. And I'll just do Cracked Ornament. And then we may end up seeing up over 500%. LE Voln are close. It ended at 494. Plus I have 178 from fire and another 142 from the shield. And then you'll notice the damage here. This is without the. That was without the energy spell enhanced weapon that I just forgot to equip there. So that's one way to nuke. My most common way, though, is simply this. What I'll do is I'll stack here, which didn't work this time. I'll gain some celerity. Try to replenish some SP real quick. And then the Shadow Phoenix Brooch does a fire burn based on landed hits. And so all things equal, so I'm going to do, got an LE Voln there. Hopefully it'll stack there. So now I'm up to 284. That's enhanced to 494 plus all the others. Now watch the burn that'll come after the Draco Air Raider attacks. 1759. I healed my SP. If I do the cycle all over again and do celerity, power gauntlet, do 2 more of the Dark Invader skills, I have actually seen over 7,000 on the burn with all things stacked on the second turn, just on the burn. So I'm able to nuke, but I also want you to pay attention to, so it will take the worst resistance, either fire or energy. So let's say, okay, so energy is 120. Alright, so 1 infliction is 31 blind and 0.63 choke for 2 rounds. Plus the status weakness. The Death Loss didn't land that time. Let's do it one more time. So the Death Loss is there. Blind is now 62. Choke is 26. blind is 62 and choke is 26. So of course he's gonna miss. Plus there was 2,000 fire damage right there. Alright, energy's 120. Let's see what I can manage to pull off here. See how many rounds it takes me to do 11,000. Hit points. Alright, got celerity. Alright, I did that guy already. Alright, I'm gonna equip this. Alright, let's see what happens. Alright, so the Warp Power Bat Swarm did not bug out the Elevon. Still did 2,000 damage. And let's see what the fire does. Okay, only 657 because it didn't bug out the Elevon. But I'm going to do this all over again. Do this again. Alright. That's not quite enough. Let's do one more. It is a 62 blind. 39.5 def loss. I don't see a choke there, so I don't remember if it took. Alright, so now we've got a choke at 63. Blinds out of the screen, but it should be crazy. I probably won't be hit. And so now we have the Warp Power Bat Swarm starting to do some pretty good damage. It bugged out that Elevon up to 686 now because it didn't last time. Fully healing my SP. Can't be hit. 2612. I got all kinds of notifications. And so, you know, for a regular monster, this guy's not easy. Actually, neither is this guy. Another thing that I'll do, because I have the SP for it, so I'm going to, at this time, and so let's see, I'm going to grab my royal cake. I'm going to give myself some intelligence so that way I can inflict mandate easier. So now we have choke at 39 and the Elevons. So I'm able to, through Elevons, play a lot of offense, but through the effects, play defense too. And you know, I've been able to beat bosses. I actually beat the Valkyrie Vampire with the Dark Invader. And so I think that it's an armor that can do and beat pretty much anything it wants. I don't know too many monsters that it would struggle against. Alright, so let's do another 2 more things. So let's Shadow Feeder, and then let's go ahead and do 2 of these. Just my normal cheese. And I should be able to hopefully get an Elevon that is significant. And then I'll be able to regenerate my SP. SP should be regen pretty strongly. and I have the SP to do whatever I want. And then again, I can do this and then inflict potentially sphere. So I have fear at 78% for 3 rounds. Wasn't necessary. And then I'll do one more. Looks like I'm struggling to do celerity. Wow, this is crazy. They have 2 stats. This guy has charisma. May actually struggle against this guy. So let's go ahead. Nuking Dolphin. Can hop over to Spellslinger. Hop back over. As you can see, I'll have 2 sets of barriers. Go ahead and do Una Poca, enhance everything. Hopefully it'll help me with the save. Alright, let's see what happens here. It can go a couple ways. So we got the Elevon's little stack. And then I'm going to go ahead and use the Fire Dragon Talon. And then switch over to Alchemical Unity. So I've got the stacked Elevons here with fire. That I used Independence Dagger, the Tropo Shield, which is not listed this time, and the Elevons from there. Then I did the Dragon Talon, and now I've equipped this guy and should end up with some pretty good blind. I didn't actually show it, but it was probably enough to not be hit. So anyway, that is my showcase for a Dark Invader centric Lucky Beast Mage play style. And like I said, I've had some success. Fought against Tibbles and other bosses, and it works pretty well. Charisma monsters are a little more difficult, but blocking monsters with high blocking are not difficult because of the def loss. And this one setup can play defense and offense all in one. I would say a monster with low resistances, like all 50s and stuff, who is also a boss with damage caps, would probably be a little bit more difficult since the effects are often based on elemental resistance. And so, not all monsters am I just going to plow over, but anyway, this is just a showcase of the way I've been playing the last a few days. Just using the cheese strat with some overpowered interactions, but doing stuff like this is what makes the game fun for me. I guess if they cut out the Word Power Batstorm bug or fix the Jelly Pet or whatever, it'd probably kill off the fun for me, but for now, that's what I'm going to be doing.